Hello and welcome to this Recon Surf episode of Surf Stories series. We're going through Karen and Steve Spear's story as well as two of their local shop surfers.
I'm Jesse Heater and you're watching Disney Channel. I started surfing when I was 11 years old because I tried all the other ball sports that all the other kids were playing and I didn't really click with any of them. And so my brother was always a big surfer and he's in the music industry, and he brought me out surfing when I was 11 years old, and it was the only thing that could click with me, and I just stuck with it. And I started competing about 5 to 6 months after I started surfing, and it just went uphill from there.
And we see someone from Wrightsville Beach just about everywhere we go. The toughest thing would have been getting products, new products that were recognizable in the store, that were anchor brands, because of the tight surf community with the amount of surf shops in the area. That would probably be the hardest thing that we had to deal with. But we just overcame that and picked up products that were new, maybe younger and less saturated in the market, that everyone is still familiar with, but maybe not as widely known as the bigger anchor brands. But it's been fun and challenging, and we've enjoyed showing people different products and, you know, just younger companies and fun things to carry that were different.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Ross. I'm a team rider for Recon.
When we were opening the shop a couple months before we opened, Karen found this van and it was perfect. It was, you know,
We weren't even looking for a van. I just came across it.
Yeah, it was a 66 Puerto line, kind of teal. I really like how
UNCW teal already.
I really like how it was really cool for going down to the beach and surfing, and fit all your boards in here. Opens right up. It's great. So I brought it to the contest a couple times, and we set up and we had surfboards and everything hanging out of it. It's good fun. This thing's really cool. Now the thing I don't like about it is trying to put my wetsuit on in it. But
Not
yeah,
tall enough.
it's really fun. It's not easy to drive. It's a little bit tough to drive.
It's the drive to Wrightsville Beach and get an ice cream and come back van.
Yeah, we did put all the. Now we can't do it this year because they changed the law. But last year we had a bunch of kids all in it. Now they have to all have seatbelts. So that's why we use the other van. But yeah, this is fun. I should probably start a van, and they build a wall right here. And they just make a tiny little doghouse cutout, and they call it a doghouse, and it's where you sleep. So you can have a little private sleep area in here. But I think we'll leave her the way she is. We have a bunch of old vintage materials. Yeah, so when we were in Hawaii, I had bought a 64 Puerto line van. And
64 is the best year, right, baby?
Yeah, that's the year you were born, right? And this is kind of a work in progress a little bit, but we haul all the kids down to the contest with. So it's a pretty neat old van. It's just a 1984 diesel clunker that we have fun with. Needs to be washed a little bit. Wow, the building's for sale. It would make a perfect surf shop. It looks like a surf shop. It would just be.
And it was what the kids wanted to do.
Yeah, they did. I wanted to do something with the family that was an investment for the family that would have legacy beyond me and Karen, that the kids could be part of. I know that they don't want to be part of a construction company or real estate, whatever our jobs were. It wasn't something that.
So we just went into it as an investment property after we sold Panama. And so we decided to get this property and do the East Coast version of Recon Surf so the kids can be involved in the surf community here. And It was a little tough in the beginning, picking up some of the products, You know, you learn that we already knew that there was, you know, a good bit of saturation in the market, I guess you could call it. Yeah.
No, but this is a great surf community. It's probably one of the best surf communities on the East Coast. It's world renowned for producing very good competitive surfers. One of which is really famous, Ben Bourgeois worldwide. He's a great ambassador for surfing and a great ambassador from Wilmington and from Wrightsville Beach. And so there's the list goes on. Bill Curry, Will Allison, the Minchers. I mean, there's so many. Mark Yonkers. There's a lot of talent
Leah
here.
Thompson.
And so being that much talent coming from a small community like this, it is very surf focused and very surf centric. So I mean, our whole life revolves around surfing pretty much. Everything we do revolves around the ability to go surfing, the ability to
make money to go
buy
surfing.
surfboards, to live the
travel with
lifestyle.
our friends and our family, which we enjoy the most.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely. I mean, the travel, watching the young kids that are coming up and that are surfing competitive. The ESA, we're actively involved in the ESA, which is a great spot for kids to grow up surfing here. SNC is a great district, and feel privileged and honored to be part of such a good legacy of East Coast surfing, competitive surfing. It's 50 years strong now, and SNC is probably one of the strongest districts on the East Coast. And so this community, with the outreach from all of the people involved with in perspective to surfing, we have a couple surf factories here. We've got super talented surfers, really talented board makers. I myself,
pretty good spots to surf too.
Good spots to surf. One of the only jetties in North Carolina that is surfable, so we're really blessed with that. And a lot of really good shapers here. I myself am a shaper. I've been shaping for a long time. I don't shape a lot, but there's really good shapers here. There's 3 or 4 shapers that live here in the Wrightsville Beach area that sell product all over the world. A very surf-oriented community. Wilmington, the Seahawks here, with the influx of young people that are new to the lifestyle that really love it as well, makes really Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach probably the closest thing to Surf City, USA, on the East Coast.
The East Coast,
Florida's got a couple too, but this is we've been all over, and we came back here because
tight.
Yeah,
just
Wilmington
and tight.
is an amazing town to grow up in, and to Wrightsville Beach is even the extension of that, and Carolina Beach. We're blessed with a lot of really fruitful coastline for surf for the East Coast, because every young generation looks at the previous generation and looks at their surfing, and that's how it evolves. And we have a plethora of talent here to keep evolving the sport, and plenty of ability for them to find every product they want here in Wilmington. We're not starved for opportunity to get surf product and good shapers and boards. And so this is a really good spot to grow up. Yeah.
Came back from Hawaii to raise the kids, and just kind of got lucky with a little spot to open up a surf shop. And we gave them the opportunity to name the surf shop, but they wanted to call it Recon Surf.
Well, that's part of what the shop is too. It's almost a slice of Aloha for us, and you can go in a lot of places that have all the same products that are surf-oriented products. But one of the things that we've tried to do are bring in some homegrown products from Hawaii that you can't find very easily, and that
and a lot of them are from people that we know or have connection with, and I think that's kind of cool, supporting small business, because a lot of those are small and up-and-coming businesses or owned by individuals.
Well, I think Recon Surf wants to share Aloha with everybody that comes in.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, we want to share a little piece of Aloha with everybody. Our shop unique would be our young surf team, and how we really strive to put trips together for the team to Hatteras, to even Florida, to Puerto Rico, Hawaii, and our next chapter is Puerto Rico. We are currently closing on a house there that we were able to get, and
that will be the Recon Surf House.
That will be the Recon Surf House, and Well, it'll actually be called Casa Aloha, but it will be a little slice of Wrightsville Beach and Hawaii and all of our experiences put together, and to share that with the new kids that are traveling. And so that's unique. I don't see that a lot where there's a big vested interest from the shop to bring the kids.
We're actually taking some of our team riders, actually a lot of them, and we are meeting with families. They're actually going to be there as well. So we're going to travel. Probably like 16 or 18 of us will be down there at once in Puerto Rico. So that'll be fun. But just doing fun things with the kids and traveling and getting together, and little dinner meetings and things like that are kind of fun just for the camaraderie. Told Stephen that I found one-way tickets in the newspaper for a little boy and a little girl to go to California. And back then you could buy the one-way tickets and you could take their place. So Stephen and I, with 3 days notice, were saying goodbye to our parents here.
I was 19.
Yep, he was 19 and I was a few years older.
23.
Something like that. And we just bought the tickets and we headed to California, where we stayed at your auntie's for one night in Palos Verdes, and then flew to Hawaii with $800 and not knowing where we're going to stay. We stayed at my dad's for one night and had his car for one day. And then we headed to the North Shore, which Stephen had never been to before.
No,
and he was 19 with blonde hair and a 6'1" Carl Hayward surfboard. And that's all he had. And a bicycle.
Yeah.
And so we drove up there and we pulled into the...
Well, the first night we got there, we were able to rent a little Nissan rental car. And the guy let us give him $100 deposit. And then like $150 to rent it for 2 days. And then we went and met your dad, and he had just gotten settled in and didn't really have room for us, and said, well, you guys can stay here tonight, but
it's probably a good thing he did.
You got to find a spot. He lived in Waianae, so it's definitely a good thing that we didn't stay there. But then we drove up to the North Shore with all our stuff packed in the back of his truck, and we were rolling up to Fujioka's grocery store and
to look at the bulletin board.
Yeah, right there in Haleiwa, and a girl saw us pulling up, and she said, "Oh, are you guys on your way out?"
She saw all of our stuff in the back.
She said, "Oh, are you guys on your way out?" And we were like, "No, actually, we just got here, and we need a place to stay." And we had thought we were going to stay at her dad's house. I had a different vision of what Hawaii really was. I thought you could pick coconuts, and pick
a little island where you could just survive.
I always tell the joke that I thought you could pick pineapples from the pineapple tree, and because that's how much I knew about Hawaii. And so we get there and we don't really have a place to stay. And the first night we actually stayed in a
Actually, we stayed one night with Dad.
Yeah, we stayed. The first night was in a potting shed because your dad wasn't back on the island.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we stayed in. Her mom knew somebody.
Actually, I went back and stayed in the car because I was afraid of the cane spiders.
Yeah, it was bad.
So I slept in the hot car.
It was bad. It wasn't looking promising the first 48 hours we were in Hawaii. It was pretty bad. But then this girl named Angel.
Her name happened to be Angel. We didn't find that out until after she directed us to our first place to stay.
She approached us and said, "Oh, you guys on your way out?" And we were like, "No, we just got here. Do you know anywhere that we can stay or any kind of job?" And she said, "Well, do you know anything about horses?" And Karen grew up with horses. So she's like, "Yeah, I grew up with horses." And so she gave us a number of a guy, and Karen ended up being the girl you see in the back of the magazine riding horses down in Mokulele on the beach.
On the beach, that was my job. Exercise polo horses. On the North Shore, in the mountainside, and on the beaches.
And I was just the yard boy. I did
for a little while.
Yeah, I did yard work and did carpentry, and got my first real carpentry job in Hawaii right up the street.
Yeah.
And then I joined the union, and I was in the carpenters union for 7 years active.
You eventually got into the carpentry union.
Yeah. It was very rare to be a haole boy in the carpenters union. That was it.
He had lots of great stories coming home from working in the carpenters union.
That was interesting, being a haole boy from North Carolina, growing up, becoming a man in Hawaii. I grew up in Wrightsville Beach. I grew up surfing and hanging out, skateboarding a lot of time on the beach at Johnny Mercer's Pier and the gazebo when they first built that, like 1984. It is a very delicate, complicated language. So, but you know, and the guys talk to you like this, huh? You gotta know what they say now, huh? But so I was young, I was a carpenter, and this guy was yelling at me to bring him something, and I didn't really know what he was asking for, because he said the black pepper. And I was like, pepper, what do you want black pepper for? Like, we're doing construction. He was getting really frustrated, but what he wanted was the black paper that you nail to, that you staple down at the bottom of the bottom plate. Yeah, so he was really mad. I mean, he was ready to like kill me. But yeah, so Hawaii was interesting. Like my first couple days surfing in Hawaii, in North Carolina, it wasn't uncommon to spray somebody. I mean, if you were surfing and there was somebody paddling back out, you would get pretty close to them and you'd turn and you'd spray them. It was just kind of one of those things you did. And so I did that to a Hawaiian guy, and he didn't like it very much at all. And it was at Haleiwa. And so he got really mad, and he grabbed my, I sprayed him, and then the wave ended. And
you sprayed him on purpose?
Yeah, just kind of one of those things you do as a cocky East Coast kid, spray people. And he didn't like it, and he grabbed my leash and he's pulling me to him, and he's like, I'm gonna pound you. And I'm like, no, please don't. I didn't know. I was just playing around. We do that back home. And he finally got me up, and he's like, I should pound you. I don't know why I'm not gonna pound you. And he let me go. So that was like my first, just a gnarly local guy at Haleiwa, and that was my first lesson in, congeniality with locals. But anyway, so we met at a party of some mutual friends down at Wrightsville Beach, and she told me that she loved surfing, and her dad lived in Hawaii, and I was planning to move to California with 4 of my good friends and to go surf. And she said, well, my dad lives in Hawaii, you should come with me. And I kind of told my friends, hey guys, I'm going to Hawaii. And so about 2 months later, we packed up and bought one-way tickets and stayed for 10 years. And that's where Recon Surf started. Karen worked for Barry Kanai'opuni at BK Ocean Sports for a few years, and was almost like an adopted daughter to them. So that helped me out a little bit as a Haole boy trying to live in Hawaii. In
1990, I guess we found the spot for the original Recon Surf, which was across from Schofield Barracks. But Recon Surf started with your idea because it was across from Schofield Barracks, which is a military housing base where Wheeler Air Force Base is. And so you can explain to everyone your idea for the name Recon Surf.
It kind of played into it. We actually we had a few names and we were thinking about it, and we had this opportunity for a building that had been laying dormant for a while, and we had already had a smaller store previously that was kind of a boutique, and wanted to morph into more of a surf shop, and wanted to bring some of the things from the East Coast or from the mainland to Hawaii, like Birdwell beach britches and some other brands. But yeah, we had a pretty good run for about 5 years.
But where did your idea of Recon Surf come from, and what? And
well,
you can
because it was
them.
across from the Army base, and I mean, Force Recon are Marines, but reconnaissance. Most military branches have a recon or reconnaissance. So we used to get up early in the morning in Hawaii. You'd get up before light, and you'd listen to your weather radio, and you'd kind of see which way the waves were coming from, the swell direction, the size, the period, where the wind was coming from, and you'd try to put the best plan together to find some waves that weren't crowded. And so that's kind of the premise of Recon Surf, doing your reconnaissance, your homework, and going and find some good surf. Maybe not to yourself, but some good surf. And finding search and enjoy is kind of our mantra at Recon Surf. So now turn the page to we moved back to 1996 to be around family, and we've been back in town for about 20 years, and had thought about we've had a few retail businesses, and thought about opening a surf shop, and our kids were kind of that age. And
so as soon as you sold your property in Panama and had the ability?
Yeah, well, I jinxed myself and said if this building ever came for sale that I would buy it. And about 6 months later, it came for sale, so I had to put my money where
our kids always wanted to be involved in the surf shop, and always asked why we moved back and didn't have them and raise them in Hawaii. So we felt a little obligated to give them a little of the experience. And since they're both surfers and enjoy the outdoors and travel as much as we do, we decided that we wanted to have a family affair. And that's why we jumped right in and did Recon Surf, the East Coast version.